Hi, and welcome to the SCD Lifestyle Solution Podcast 28. This is Jordan Reasoner, and I'm here tonight with my partner in crime, Steve Wright. What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. We have a pretty cool special guest tonight.
I know it's a pretty crazy story. I mean, this guy just randomly emailed us with an awesome story, and lo and behold, we were able to hook up on a time frame to get everybody on the line. So I'm pretty excited about what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think our podcast is gonna be able to help a lot of people, inspire people to start the diet, as well as to maybe give it another shot. So I'm very excited. Tonight we have our special guest is Patrick Leger. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn it right over to Patrick. And Patrick, man, thanks for being here and tell us your story. So talk a little bit about the email that you sent us and your experience with the specific carbohydrate diet.
Sure. I recently started the diet again, and I'll get into details further on with that. But I was looking online for information, and I found your site, and I thought it was really great. And I wanted to share my story because I guess, well, it's unique to me, and I don't know anybody else who's gone through some of the really difficult moments that I have. So I'd like to share that, and if it can help somebody out there, then it won't be in vain. So that's a little short description there. I was diagnosed in 1989. I was 13 years old. I was pretty small at that age, so we didn't know what was going on really. I had a lot of abdominal pain, nausea in the morning. I missed a lot of days of school. I weighed 95 pounds about at that age. So we went to see a GI, and we did a lot of tests, and we figured out that I had Crohn's disease. So my doctor immediately gave me different medications to get the inflammation down. We did a colonoscopy and figured out it was Crohn's at the ileum. So she started me on prednisone. I think that's standard pretty much. And after a few months, that wasn't really working. So we went on to try other medications such as Asacol and then Mesosol. But it got to a point where it was really bad. And this was a span of about 3 years. In 91, my gastro wanted to operate. She said, this is not working out. We need to operate so you get better. You could start growing again because I was pretty short. I wasn't growing at the normal rate. So she really wanted to operate. And my aunt actually found this book called The Food and the Gut Reaction from Elaine Gottschall. At the time, this was like the first edition of Elaine's book describing the specific carbohydrates diet. I was 15 years old, and at the time, my father's an engineer, so like you guys, so he wanted all the information that he could get from any resource, and he actually called up Elaine straight up and talked to her on a regular basis, saying these are the symptoms my son is having, and we really want to get better. We need more info on the diet and such. And my mom got to cooking with the only book we had was this Food and the Gut Reaction book. There was no resources online. There were no cookbooks, no almond flour recipe books. We just had the little, like 20 or 25 pages of recipes that Elaine had put in her book. So we started making almond flour muffins and, banana bread and the broths and all that. So we did the intro diet at that time. And then after a week, started to put in the normal foods. At the time, there were no phases. So we just straight on, almond flour, fruits, vegetables, nuts, everything. And within a few weeks, my bowels were more regular because I had terrible diarrhea. I was going to the bathroom 10 to 12 times a day. So it was very difficult at that age to try to manage that with high school and, the your friends and your family and all that. But after a few weeks, I had no more blood. I had no more diarrhea. The pain was gone within a month, which was amazing for me because I couldn't remember a time where I didn't have any pain, like pain that I actually had to sit down and actually bend over, in pain because it was so bad. And my teachers knew all this. They knew my condition, so I'd ask if I could go out, and then they'd leave me go out, and I'd go to the bathroom or go lie down or something. So they were very understanding for that. Um, so I continued with the diet. At 15 years old, I was baking my own muffins on Sunday. So I had them for the week, or I made a batch, so I had to freeze them and I'd have them. But I did a lot of cooking myself. My mom was a great help for that. She helped me sort of vary on the recipes and all that, because I couldn't really do that on my own. So I was on the diet for about 2 years. My dad kept talking to Elaine, and at one point, after talking to Elaine, actually signed my book. She autographed my book, saying, wishing you good health, Elaine Gottschall, and that was in August of '93. So I thought that was really cool because, at that time, she was like my hero because, she's changed my life. I went from being a really non-social 13-year-old or 15-year-old because I was so embarrassed or I was so scared of doing anything, to being able to play tennis for a whole day, or to go skiing or going out with my friends and stuff like that. So she changed my life. And after being on the diet again for till '97, so about 6 years, Elaine called my parents, and she said that she got a call from the Deanie Petty show. And this was like sort of like Oprah, but like Canada. And she was asked to show up on Toronto, Ontario, for the show. And she called my dad and she asked if I could go and be like a guest on her show with her to actually talk about the diet and how it's helped me and all that. And I really wanted to go. But it was exam time, and we had no means to actually do the traveling. So I had to resort to not going. I was pretty sad about that, but it was the reality for the time. So I was okay with that. The show aired in the August 29th in '97. So and she talked about the diet, and it was quite interesting to actually see her talk about it like that, because I just talked to her either her hearing what my dad talked about, or on the phone or whatever. So it was pretty cool. In '98, I was on the diet for 7 years, and I was completely symptom-free. And I started incorporating different new foods to the diet, sort of like breads, and see how I react to it, but very, very slowly adding stuff. And I got to the point where I could eat like almost anything, and I had no symptoms, no abdominal pain, no cramping, no diarrhea, no constipation, no blood, no nothing. I was pretty much normal. As far as I could tell. And after tests, it would show that I didn't have Crohn's anymore. So, that was great. In 2004, at about 28 years old, I woke up one morning. I still had no symptoms of Crohn, and I woke up with this incredibly bad abdominal pain. And I went to the bathroom, and within minutes, I passed out on the floor. I just don't remember anything past there. So my wife called 911. We got the ambulance come over. I went to the emergency room for tests. They gave me a barium swallow test, and they determined the location of the blockage with that. And they had immediate surgery. They removed my ileum and my appendix, and then they closed me back up. And I woke up with they did this laparoscopy, so it wasn't like this huge incision. And Everything was fine till a few hours after the operation, and like 2 or 3 in the morning, I had this incredible pain. Like I never had pain like that ever before. And I was pretty quiet in the hospital, but at that point I was screaming, I was moaning. Is just incredible pain. And the nurses said, "Oh, it's just normal. It's just, surgery settling and all that." It's like, no, no, no. This feels like something is ripping through, like something's very, very wrong. And they gave me more morphine. That did like nothing. The pain is just unimaginable. Like on a 0 to 10, it was like a 15. So they called the surgeon. Surgeon came back around 3 a.m. in the morning, reopened, and then they noticed that I still had barium that was in my intestine. And they had, I don't know if it's part of the procedure to remove the barium, but when you have an operation on your bowels sort of stop functioning to sort of prevent, the spillage of fecal matter and whatever the damage was caused by. So my bariums stopped, and the barium sort of solidified, and it ruptured my intestines, and it spilled into my abdominal cavity. So when they reoperated, they had to clean me all out. They put a drain. They put in an ileostomy, a colostomy bag, and again I woke up and I had all this, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on? What happened?" And they said that the barium had seeped into my abdominal tissue, so they took out as much as they could, but some of it was still seeped in. So it was for an operation that would have maybe lasted maybe a week. I was in the hospital for about 4.5 to 5 months, actually in the hospital, trying to deal with all this new pain and this the colostomy bag, which was positioned too high in my digestive tract. So and then like if I would eat, it would be in the bag within like 30 minutes. So I couldn't absorb anything. So I was on IV to get nourishment like that, and I was on a PCA pump, so a patient-controlled analgesia, so I can control the pain because the pain was just excruciating. It was later determined that I had possibly some nerve damage caused by this rupture. And after 5.5 months, I had another surgery to remove the colostomy bag and the intestinal drain. Before, we didn't know if I was going to live with the colostomy bag or not. So when they did remove it, it was a bit of relief from that perspective. But the pain remained. The pain was just constant pain with spikes of pain depending during the day. It didn't seem to be related to food at all, so I couldn't relate it to Crohn's pain or IBD pain. But as soon as they released me from the hospital, they put me right on to azathioprine, and then later on 6-MP. And then later on, because that wasn't, I guess, good enough, they put me on methotrexate, which was a very, very nasty drug, which I had to inject myself with. And I was always extremely nauseous with that. And it's a very strong immunosuppressor. At the time, I didn't really have any Crohn's symptoms, but this was like preventive measures that they really wanted to put me on. So they did all this stuff to help me. So I figured, well, they're here to help me, so I'm going to do what they want me to do. But after a while, the pain never went away. I still had this pain, which they actually diagnosed later on as chronic neuropathic pain, which I had to take other medications to actually control the pain. But they didn't really help all that much. So in 2005, I was back to work, but I never really got better. It seemed like it was getting worse and worse. The abdominal pain was, affecting my work. I couldn't concentrate very well. Again, I was falling to, like when I was 13 years old, this was like coming back to me. But I didn't really associate it at all to maybe Crohn's or that. I mean, my doctor were inadamant that I didn't have Crohn's. So I had no reason to believe that I had Crohn's. So I missed a lot of days, and then in January 2010, I decided this is too much. I can't work anymore. So I went off on disability. I was getting chronic diarrhea now, and my doctor said, well, this is stress from the pain and all that, so we'll try to deal that with more medication. So we did that, but I mean, it never really helped. Then uh, after a year and a half, which was a very long year and a half, uh, I was cleaning out my bookshelf, and I found the Food and Gut Reaction book, and I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe I could actually try this. I mean, I have nothing to lose. I mean, it helped me so much a while back, and maybe if it's Crohn's or IBD or ulcerative colitis, maybe this can help. And this book, I mean, I found this book at the right time because I was having these very, very bad psychological, being in pain all the time. I was very depressed. I had very dark moments, and I was, very doubtful that I was able to keep doing this. I mean, it wasn't affecting me. It was affecting my wife, my family. It was very, very difficult. But I mean, the fact that they were around made it, more easy for me to say, I'm not gonna, I'm trying not to think about that. Even though it's trying to pop in my head every so often when the pain gets really bad, I'm not that kind of person. I'm strong. I can do better in this. So after seeing multiple doctors that said, you have to learn to live with this pain. This is your reality. You will live with this for the rest of your life. How do you react to something like that? You just, it's kind of, it's the way they were telling me that it's like they didn't, like I understood what they meant, but to say it and to live it is two different things completely. So now that brings me up to September this year. So I started the diet when I found the book. So I decided, well, geez, there's got to be some more resources than this, book with 20 pages of recipes. So I did a search for SCD online, and oh my God, there's like gold everywhere. One of the first sites I found were your site, the SCD Lifestyle, and I thought, this is amazing. It's like you guys actually took whatever Elaine had, and then you sort of, pushed it on steroids, and then gave us so much more to build on. And I took that. I mean, I bought the book right then and there, and immediately put to effect because I didn't know about the phases and all that. So I was doing the intro diet, and I was doing it for 5 days because my diarrhea was really bad, and I really needed to get that under control. So after 3 weeks, I was getting 3s and 4s on the Bristol Scale. The pain was less constant. It was more like moments of pain where, yeah, they were bad, but I mean, it wasn't constant pain. I had moments where I could actually breathe. And I started keeping a diary, like you guys mentioned. I stayed away from the Four Horsemen. Uh, the I ordered some GI Pro Health, probiotics, CD, safe multivitamins, and some pro enzymes. So I have those. And my parents have been like really helpful with cooking me meals. I mean, bringing stuff, freezing stuff, and it just makes it so much easier. And, my wife is very supportive of this, and, she wants to see me get better. I mean, it's been a really, hard toll on her to see me like this. I mean, it's hard to see somebody suffer when you're not able to do anything to help them. So that brings me to now.
Man, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That was so powerful, and you've been through so much, and it's hard for me to even imagine where to begin. Maybe you can go back a little bit with me to when you first relieved your symptoms on SCD, back when you were, 15, 16, and talk to me about what that was like and how SCD changed your life when you finally, you know, got some relief from your symptoms and got your life back a little bit.
Sure. It's, I mean, if you try to think like how you were at like 13 or 15 years old, you sort of think, you're not gonna know it all right away, but you sort of, you don't want to. It's kind of a huge letdown that you have this disease, and you've been taking these medications, and you've been going to see the doctor, and you've seen so many different specialists to try to help you, and they can't help you. It's at that age you're like, yeah, you can't imagine that there's nothing that somebody can do to sort of help you. And then when we got this diet, my aunt showed me this book to my parents, and then I read the book because at that age I love science and stuff, so this is kind of cool. I could sort of understand it, and but the strictness of the diet sort of, I was like, oh man, this is going to be extremely difficult. How am I going to do this, especially if I'm not feeling good? You don't feel, you want that comfort food stuff. At some point I was eating, Jello and Coke Classic, for during my days, because I was, in my mind, that was the food that didn't hurt me. But I mean, that was completely contrary to the SCD diet, obviously. So, my parents made sure that I didn't really have much at hand to sort of cheat. But I got on the diet, and then I started feeling better. And I was like, wow, I mean, I don't remember feeling this good in such a long time. Maybe there's something to this. So I kept at it. And then I could, go out and play with my friends, and go out at, see a movie and not worry about, urgency, or, where's the next bathroom, or all this stuff. And sure, my friends were like, let's go for pizza or something. And, you're like, well, I'll bring my own stuff, or, maybe I'll just have a salad or something. And, there's like, are you on a diet, or what's going on? Trying to lose weight. I was already like 95 pounds, so I didn't need to lose weight. But it was difficult, I have to admit. But I mean, the rewards were there, so that made it such an easier task at hand. So at that point, I didn't really have like the need to cheat all that much. I mean, I guess my parents did a really good job of cleaning out the kitchen and making sure there weren't stuff like chips or cookies or stuff lying around that I could just snack on before they got home, type of thing. So
Can I jump in there for a sec, Patrick?
yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what you just said, and the reason why is, all types of people of all different ages come to our blog, and we talk to, and there's a lot of kids who are going to be going through kind of the journey that you went through, where they're going to be going through high school and dealing with their friends and the social pressures of changing their diet. So I was just wondering if you had any advice. It sounds like maybe you kind of dealt with it with your friends, maybe through humor or something, or maybe if you had some
Yeah.
advice for kids and how to deal with their friends as they grow up or go through this.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me. I was always like, when I was healthier, I was always the funny kid. I'd make people laugh and all that, and it's hard. I mean, because as a teenager, you're going out a lot. Temptation is there, but my friends, they knew. They knew that this was making me get better, and allowing me to go out with them. I mean, a lot of times I couldn't go out because I was either stuck in the bathroom, or throwing up, or whatever, and that sort of made it kind of lonely, because your friends don't know how to react to that. It's it's not like the common cold. I mean, your friends, after a while they stick by you, and they understand that this is making you better. And after a while, they know that, they know better not to, put a pizza right under your face or something. They get more discreet. They respect that because they know otherwise you wouldn't be with them. You wouldn't be spending time having fun, making them laugh, and building all the memories that you build in high school.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It sounds like you had some awesome friends, and I think what I'm picking up there is that it turns out when you make like a switch onto SCD and your friends and your family for that matter, and I observed this in my life when it happened, is that when people start to see the energy return to you and start to see that you're willing to go out and do things that you haven't done in a while, that I mean, I was afraid of what people might think of me as well, and I'm sure that maybe a lot of the fear of when we make these dietary changes is kind of in our own heads, because when our friends and family see how much better we feel, they end up becoming supportive like yours did. So I think that's really cool.
That's right. And the other thing, like you said, it's in your head. I found I was secluding myself a lot. I was, sleeping a lot, being sick from school, and you kind of fold into yourself, and you lose a lot of, can I still interact with my friends? After a while, your mind gets sort of chewed up, and after being on this diet, you sort of get a boost where, yeah, this is fun. This is fun. I want to go out with my friends. I want to go, play hockey, or I want to go, swimming or whatever with my friends, and the SCD diet does that. It does that on the physical level, and it does that at the mental, and then with everything else, the emotional level.
That's great, man. That's going to help so many people just if they can take a little bit of your experience and apply it to their life. And thank you for sharing that. And I want to take and jump forward a little bit to your surgery, because you have such a unique situation where you were off the diet and you were feeling really good, and all of a sudden you had a blockage and you had this surgery happen. And so we get a lot of people that get to a point where they're so down and out, maybe they don't think they can handle the diet, or they're struggling to make the diet work a little bit, and they think that surgery is going to be an answer and that it will leave them, okay, and they'll just deal with a colostomy bag, or they can go that route as an option for treatment of their disease. And so you kind of have a unique perspective in how you came to end up having the surgery that you did have, and then still ending up on SCD to get relief after the surgery. And I just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure. Well, just to go back even further, the first time that my GI was going to operate, my parents, I didn't quite understand why they didn't want me to get operated, because it sounded to me like to be like the solution. I mean, you just take a piece off, you're done, and you're back to normal. But they really believed that if I went that road, and I had to have surgery again later on, then you just have so much colon that you can remove, or intestines. So after a while, I understood that what they wanted to do, which brings me back to my surgery, which wasn't really intentional. But when that happened, it was. The blockage was a complete blockage, and they didn't really have a choice. They had to remove that portion, and they say that it was possibly scarred by Crohn's disease previously. So they had, when they removed it, it wasn't inflamed or anything, but it was scarred, which possibly helped or aided the blockage. Which, I mean, for so many years I was fine, so I didn't have any symptoms, but it just happened that way.
Yeah, your situation is so unique, and it's so great to hear your thoughts on it, especially what you've been through in your childhood and now again in adulthood. And I think it might help too at this point to get more into your second round on SCD and what you're going through right now. And you mentioned that you're having to to exclude the four horsemen, and you're working on building your custom version of the diet and tracking and doing a great job with those things. So tell us more about how the diet's going now, and how your symptoms are now, and what that's done for your life.
Sure. Um, uh, I was really glad after maybe a week that the constant pain that I felt disappeared. So that was a huge aha moment that, wow, this might be Crohn's back again. So right then and there, I said, okay, this is it. I need to do this. So I had, for about 5 to 6 days, I had the die off, which I didn't know about the first time around. But I had the flu-like symptoms. I felt really crappy. I had still a bit of diarrhea, which is hard to say if it was just the Crohn's or if it was the die-off. And I still have like night sweats a bit, but the rest is not as bad. So I I'm still I haven't incorporated nut flour yet, but I'm willing to add that very soon. I've sort of incorporated this like a naturopath to actually check food allergies to see if I react to egg or nuts or honey or like other stuff. So I'm trying to help myself before I actually go and actually try these individually, so I'm better prepared. Uh, I do like you guys say, I cook in batches. That's a great. I've used your book so many times to. The turkey sausage, man, that's brilliant. I had some this morning. I had some yesterday. I just love it. I just put a bit of ketchup on it, and it's great. If you have enough stuff pre-made, this diet is not that difficult to do, and especially if you get the benefits of feeling better. I've added the probiotics, like you guys mentioned. So I'm waiting to see if I feel anything different. Uh, I I'm still getting some pain, but nothing like before. So it's very encouraging to feel that way. And it doesn't, like when I do have pain, I'm not totally discouraged where the point where, oh geez, I want to cheat because I'm in pain already, so I might as well go for it. I strongly believe in keeping very, very strict. I want the full benefits that could have. And I know you guys talk about, hitting the 60% with the diet and then trying to get those other percentage with supplements, probiotics, enzymes. And I re-listen to your podcasts over because there's always one thing that I missed. And keep checking your sites and your blogs. All this information is great.
Well, thanks, man. We really appreciate it. It's our pleasure to have you on today, and just hearing what you've been through. I think a really valuable question for me to ask you would be, this time around, what's your biggest challenge on this diet? And so maybe you can give us an idea of how you've overcome that.
Well, it's the thing that I keep reminding myself is that you need to give time for your body to heal. Your Crohn's, your colitis, or your IBD took months and perhaps like years to damage your body. So it's going to take time to fully take effect. So I don't try to tend to get too down with when I'm having pain. It's part of the healing process. It's just showing me that it's still there, but it's getting better and better. So I find you have to persist. This thing's been gnawing at you for so long that you really need to really starve it. Starve it and then show who's boss. And you have to take your life back. This Crohn's has taken a lot from me. all my life, and I'm sick of it. I just I don't want to deal with it. It's affecting my family. It's affecting my life. It's affecting my job. I yeah, sure, it's unfair, but I mean, just being sorry for yourself is not going to make you better. So you might as well step up and do do what you have to do. And I mean, I'm lucky that I have found SCD at such a young age, and I'm hoping that other people can find that. Uh, because I mean, you just read on Twitter, a lot of people are just talking about, their symptoms every day, and I'm on this medication, that medication, and if it works for them, that's great. But other people, they don't know about this diet, and they or their doctors don't believe that diet makes a difference. And I mean, I'm proof that they're wrong, and you guys are proof that they're wrong. And I'm sure there's tons of other people that are wrong, and it's it's important to take charge. Your doctor's not going to give you a pill that makes you all better. Yeah, you have to. This is the type of thing where you have to make the choice, and you have to tell yourself that this is going to make me better, and it's going to give my life back.
Man, that was powerful. You are an inspiration. Thank you. I love that. Starve it out and show who's boss. That's a good quote. That's nice. I like that. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I do have one final question that I'd love to hear your answer to, which is, what's your number one piece of advice that you give someone that's thinking about starting a diet? They're not sure. They're not, they're not sure if they're going to be able to handle it, if it's right for them, if it'll even work. What do you have to say to that person?
Well, like I've been on multiple medications, and they didn't work for me. The diet, I gave it a shot. I mean, you have to give it a good shot. You can't just start the diet and then, have hot chocolate tomorrow, or, some Krispy Kreme donuts and expect it to work. You really have to give it your best shot. And, after, I don't know how long you need to try it, but I mean, within a week, my pain, the pain that I had constantly was gone. And within a few more weeks, the diarrhea was gone. So just to see those symptoms disappear was proof enough for me to actually know that this is making a difference, and it's sort of a natural way to actually help your body sort of heal. These medications aren't natural at all. These medications are treating your symptoms. They're not treating the disease. You have to get to the bottom of the disease. And I know several doctors say it's not diet, but I mean, your disease is in your intestines. Your intestines pass, food byproducts and, fecal matter, all that. So, how can you say it's not related? So just give it a shot. I mean, the worst that can happen is you're going to be eating great food, and possibly, get normal bowels, and possibly help you with some pain from your IBD. Just give it a shot.
Thanks, man. That was perfect. Perfect advice. You've shared an awesome story with us today, and it's so cool that you interacted with Elaine, in the early 90s, and the diet's actually worked twice for you so far, so that's pretty cool. And I know that the the power of your story and the emotion that you shared today is going to inspire a lot of people and give people a lot of hope to keep taking control of their health and doing the right things to feel better, to actually enjoy life again, symptom free. And I just want to thank you again for your time. It's been a real pleasure, man, and thanks for reaching out and emailing us. You rock, man.
Oh, thank you. Well, you guys are a big part of this, so I mean, thank you to you as well. And if my story can help, one person out there, not go through this really difficult, disease, I mean, I'll be glad. So thank you, guys.
Well, thanks again, Patrick, and I know it's going to help more than one person actually. And again, I think it's awesome that you came forward like you did just to share your I don't know if we want to call it a double success story just yet, but just to share your story. And I hope that others like you will keep stepping forward, because this is really a pleasure for Jordan and I to do, and we thank you.
All right. Well, if you want to email us your story, if you're listening to this, you can email us at jordanandsteve@scdlifestyle.com. Or if you're on our blog, you can click the Contact Us page, and that'll send us an email with your information in it. Otherwise, you can learn more about our book at www.scdlifestylebook.com. And this has been a very special guest, Patrick Leger. Thank you so much for your time. This has been Jordan and Steve with the SCD Lifestyle Solution Podcast 28.